Welcome. I appreciate everybody being here, and I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order here on November 23rd, 2021, and I'll ask the city clerk to please call roll.
Commissioner Galt?
Present.
Commissioner Guess?
Present.
Commissioner Henderson?
Present.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Bray?
Present. So we're going to do, we'll stand and do the invocation, and then we'll do the pledge, but starting off, I'd like to do a moment of silence in memory of Mayor Jerry Montgomery, who served this city extremely well, and I have some more remarks about her later, but we'll observe a moment of silence, and then David will lead us in prayer.
Lord God, we thank you for everything you've given us, and give us a heart of thanksgiving. Thank you for each and every citizen that's represented in our city, and give us discernment, and for everyone that's coming into our city, give us safe travels. For each person from our city that's traveling, give us safe travels, and just been on my mind all day. We want to thank you for all you've given us, all that you've done for us, and we love you and thank you. In Jesus' name,
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
None tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Well, from here, we'll ask Chris Yarber to come up and introduce our new employees in the Public Works Department.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
How are you all this evening?
Great. Good to see
We're
you.
trying to get in the habit of bringing new employees in front of you so you can be familiar with them. It's a good deal. When I hired in, we didn't do that. And there was times when employees, as you know, didn't make an appearance or you all weren't familiar with who they were. It's a great idea. Y'all want to come on up? We have several employees, new employees from different divisions. I may slaughter some names, so. We have Aaron Marquise.
Marquis.
You know I was going to mess it up. Aaron is in our maintenance division. He's one of our automotive mechanics, fleet maintenance, and all of his employees are valued employees. Most of them have been here. Aaron's been here since
Almost a year.
a year. We're behind because of COVID, but I want to get everyone in front. He's been here almost a year, so I can tell you he's a valued employee.
The others have to earn it?
Yes. Taylor. Taylor's in our street division. We also have Anthony, and we have Jerry, and we have Troy. I'm testing myself.
Did you pass?
I did. Troy and Jerry are both in the street division. They're all W's as well. Anthony is in our facility maintenance. So we have some really good employees here, and I look forward to working with them from now on. So.
Great.
Any
Thanks.
questions for him?
Well, they have any questions for us?
Take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, it doesn't come very often. Well, I just want to say, first of all, welcome. Welcome aboard. Some of you are newer than others, but one of the things that we work on here in the city is, we want to create a good environment for people to work in. And, I think our commission is focused on that. We want it to be an environment that you could stay for a long time. You have to make your decision, based upon your own careers and what opportunities there are. But we very much appreciate the job that you do for us and what you do for our citizens. It's very, very serious work. Everything that everybody does is very important. So thank you very much.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, from here we have a proclamation. Are you ready, Katie? Are we gonna, we'll start off, I guess we'll do the proclamation first, and then is there anybody here that wants to?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Oh, are you reading?
Well, let's see, I guess I am. I'm going to read it and I'm going to hand it to you. So I'll stand here by this microphone since I've already botched this up a little bit. So this is a proclamation for Small Business Saturday and small business, which is so important to our town. And it reads, whereas Paducah, Kentucky celebrates and supports our local small businesses and the contributions they make to our local economy, unique culture, and community. And whereas advocacy groups, as well as public and private organizations across the country, have endorsed the Saturday after Thanksgiving as Small Business Saturday. And whereas, according to the United States Small Business Administration, there are 31.7 million small businesses in the United States, which are responsible for 65.1% of net new jobs created from 2000 to 2019. And whereas 92% of small business owners have pivoted the way they do business to stay open during the pandemic, and whereas 88% of U.S. consumers feel a personal commitment to support small businesses in the wake of the pandemic, and whereas on average for every dollar spent at local small businesses, 67 cents stays in the local community, and whereas Paducah's historic downtown welcomed 13 new businesses this calendar year, along with the expansion of 4 existing businesses. And now, therefore, I, George P. Bray, Mayor of Paducah, hereby declare November 27th, 2021 as Small Business Saturday. Okay, thank you. I'll let you have that.
Thank you. Mayor and Commission, thank you so much for this proclamation and for recognizing all of our small businesses in Paducah. I am so honored to come and talk with you about our Small Business Saturday event and our No Place Like Local campaign. We have downtown over 185 businesses and 85 restaurants, shops, and cultural organizations. And the holiday season is the most important time for them. And so when you support local, when you buy local, you're giving twice. You're giving a unique gift that you often cannot get anywhere else, and you're also supporting that small business, their family, their employees and their families, and keeping those dollars local within our community. So thank you. Thank you so much for this, and we encourage everybody to come this Saturday for Shop Small Saturday. We have with us Jeff Cantor, who is our Main Street Board of Director Chair, our newest board member, Carla Berry, and then also Susan Edwards, who is the owner of Wild Hair Studio Rock Shop. She's here to talk from the business owner's perspective about how important supporting local during the holiday season is. Want to come and talk? Yes.
Welcome.
Katie, Craig Beavers, I think's on your board, is back there too.
And Craig. Hello, Craig.
Mayor, Commission,
Susan?
members. I see some familiar faces. Some of us have been around for a minute or two. I see some new faces. I'm Susan Edwards, and my husband Robert Hernandez and I own Wild Hair Studios Rock Shop. We arrived in Paducah about 2003. We were following one of his jobs to run a local facility, and sadly that facility closed within a year. And he's like, well, there's really nothing else around here, so we're going to have to move. And I'm like, I really like Paducah. And so lots of things transpired, and he ended up having to commute for several years. He's now retired, so he lives here permanently. But I felt such a strong kinship with Paducah right away that I was willing to really put the stick in the ground and say, this is where I really want to settle and this is where I want to stay. So about 2004, about mid-year, I had a chance to reinvent myself, and I became an artist and was the resident artist at the Papa Gallery at 124 Broadway, and was there for several years, but then ended up migrating over to 201 Broadway, which is the corner store which now has the attorney's office in it, and continued the artist, and I taught art, and we were kind of a souvenir shop, and I created a line of funny T-shirts for quilters. So we were very successful, and then 2009 hit. So that business did end. And about 2010, I went over to the National Quilt Museum and was the director of marketing there for about 1.5 years, 2 years. After I retired from the Quilt Museum, took my T-shirt business on the road, and then I made the mistake of stopping and doing a crystal dig, and I fell back in love with crystals. And like any obsession, you either have to stop it or you have to figure out a way to make money at it. So I decided to open up a rock shop. And that first year, in 2014, when I opened up the rock shop, I was at 209 Broadway. And for those of you who've been in that building, you know, it's a really small shop. But honestly, I wasn't quite sure if anyone would really want to buy rocks. So, I mean, you can't find them in your driveway. But they did. And within a year, when my lease was up, I migrated up to 311 Broadway, which went from about, 400 or 500 square foot to 1,800 square foot. And I rented the upstairs, which was another 1,800 square foot. So talk about a leap of faith, right? But I had been around downtown for a long enough period of time, and I've seen the ups and the downs, but I had faith in downtown, and I figured out people did want to buy rocks, and so I made the investment. It's been about 7 years. And I'm happy to report people are still buying rocks. So that's the good news. So I know Katie wanted to talk a little bit about how important is it for local support. Well, once I opened up the rock shop, I saw a steady growth. And 2019 was a good year, and it was about 10% over the previous year. And then the pandemic hit. And we had the opportunity to find out what it was like to close for several months. And of course, we were all in a panic. And I did a pivot and really went to online and curbside like everyone did. And I called my landlord and I said, well, I can probably pay you through about August. And then the city came up with some grants, and I was lucky enough to get a grant, and I called her back and said, okay, we can make it another month or two. But once we reopened, I'm happy to report that business exploded. And honestly, it hasn't stopped since. So 2020, despite being closed, was still 10% over 2019, which was a good year. 2021, year to date, I'm up 50% over what I did in 2020. And honestly, folks, my online business, I get maybe 4 or 5 orders a month. So it's not online, it's local. It's people from the area, it's regional, but frankly, it's mostly within about a 30-mile radius. So without local support, we wouldn't be in business, at least not the way it looks right now. So I can't really say anything more than without local, I don't know that there's too many restaurants or businesses downtown that would survive. So it's really critical. And I look to our elected officials, and I look to the communities and the organizations that help come up with new innovative ideas and programs and events, and work hard to keep us fresh. You know, I know Katie wanted me to talk a little bit about what do I see about the future. Well, I see ups and downs. You know, we opened up 13 new businesses and some new restaurants and such, and I'm sure that we'll continue to see the ups and the downs of people succeeding and then reinventing themselves also. I know there's some projects in the works. I would love to see things like two-way come back to Broadway. If you think about it, people who are going down 3rd Street and need to go west are routed over to Jefferson, and they never see my shop. But if it was two-way, I'd have a lot more people who would see my shop. So I'd really like to see the two-way back on Broadway. So if that's on the agenda, I'd love to keep it on the agenda and keep talking about that. Okay? And of course, the city block and, you know, the riverfront development and all of the other things, you know, I get a little, there's going to be a change, and I'm not sure what's going to happen. But honestly, you know, we have so many assets, and we really have to, as a small city, we have to leverage those assets, and we have to keep it fresh, and we have to keep changing and having something new for tourism and local people to enjoy, and to improve the quality of life. I mean, it's just a matter of, we just have to embrace change once in a while. And we trust you folks and all of the good people who are committed, and people like Mayor Jerry, who's visionary, you know, really helped us grow, to continue to grow and to keep us on track. So will there be changes? Yeah. Will there be some grouching about it? I'm confident. Will there be some, you know, headbutting? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we really all have to pitch in together and just keep our downtown vital. We need the tourism, and the local people, if you guys don't shop downtown, come on downtown. We're really a wonderful place to shop. So I've been around for a few minutes downtown, and I wouldn't be anywhere else. This is my business home, and I love it. We don't live downtown, but if I didn't have a dog, I probably would. So thank you very much for your time and all your public service. It is appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Yay.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Katie.
We appreciate your dedication to downtown and all the time, effort that you put into it. It's great to hear that your sales are up that much this year. That's really excellent news. One of the things I've said before from this forum is that, you know, our downtown is really, it's our fabric. It's really the kind of the first thing that people look at when they figure out if they want to live here, they want to come visit, they want to have a meeting. I mean, they look at downtown. So the care and the effort and the energy and the money that we put into downtown over the last 25 years, and certainly Mayor Montgomery, you know, was a living, breathing example. She paid a lot of attention to it and really led a lot of our rejuvenation in downtown. So it's great to hear that, and I urge everybody to head downtown on Saturday and spend some of your coin. So
Thank you.
thanks, Katie. Appreciate it very much. So before we get into the agenda per se, I got a couple things I want to talk about. I mentioned Mayor Montgomery. I wanted to call out one other thing about her service that I made note of, and I'm not sure everybody did. You know, she served our city in 2 terms as mayor. And then my understanding is she was defeated, you know, running for her 3rd term. But then within 2 years, she came back and ran for city commissioner. And then she served 2 more terms as city commissioner. And to me, that speaks volumes about her, because here's this woman who had been mayor, who led our city, but wanted to serve. And so she wasn't hung up on the fact that she'd been mayor. She came back and served as a city commissioner. And I think there's a lesson in there for all of us. Now, I have some personal experience with this in people's careers. You know, sometimes things don't always work out the way you expect them to, or you wait the way you want them to. And you have to kind of roll with the punches and do what's do what your passion is. And you kind of have to put titles and where you were kind of out of the way and move on. And I think she's an excellent example of that. And I just wanted to call that out. And then my second comments are about an exciting new business that's located here in Paducah. We're all excited here at the commission to see movement and new life in the former Amerisource Bergen building, where I spent my 40-year career. We've got the building has been acquired by a company called Griffin Blockchain Services, and there will be a Bitcoin mining operation in there. And anybody that doesn't understand cryptocurrency or Bitcoin mining would have to get in line behind me because I don't fully understand it either, but I know that that industry is growing. That is the second company that has made an acquisition, a building, or built a building here in Paducah. I'm familiar with this building. It's a 120,000 square foot building. It's a very large building. I just point out that this was a private property transaction and closed on November 12th, so a couple of weeks ago, really. And I mentioned that this is, last night on the news, it was reported that it was a Chinese company, and I just wanted to make sure that we kind of set the record straight that this is an American-owned entity. And this company has already joined the Chamber of Commerce and wants to make a long-term commitment to Paducah. And they've had people in from all over. They've had people from San Francisco, Atlanta. You know, there's people in preparing the building for the next iteration of work that's going to take place there. So there is a company called FBG Capital, which is the primary investor, for this company. And they are going to make a press release next week. And so that will give everybody an idea to get more clarity on exactly what kind of operation. And one of the things that I'd like to ask them and others to do really is, because there's so many of us that don't understand cryptocurrency or mining and exactly what that is, I think we need to, provide some education for the community more. So I'm hoping that that's something that we can organize for those people who want to know more about it. We can, get people together and have people explain exactly what cryptocurrency mining is. There's multiple cryptocurrencies out there, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, others. I couldn't name them all, but it is a growing industry, and it's exciting that this company has come to Paducah. So, with that, I'm ready to move on to the agenda for tonight. We'll start off with the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The city clerk will read the items recommended for approval. Would any commissioner, that's having customers too many years, would any commissioner like an item removed for separate discussion tonight?
I would.
Okay. Then I'll ask the city clerk to read the items recommended for approval.
Approve minutes for the November 9th, 2021 Paducah Board of Commissioners meeting. Receive and file documents. Reappointment of Tamara Sanderson to the Civil Service Commission. This term shall expire December 9th, 2024. Reappointment of Greg McKeel and Dr. Frank Heidig to the Brooks Stadium Commission. Said terms shall expire December 31st, 2025. Personnel actions, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to apply for a matching grant in the amount of $3,000 from the Kentucky League of Cities Liability Grant Program for the purchase of new GPS and camera system for all solid waste vehicles, accepting all awarded grant funds and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same. A municipal order approving a fleet maintenance motorized equipment and emergency apparatus service agreement with the City of Metropolis Fire Department to provide fleet maintenance services at hourly rates and authorizing the execution of all documents related to same. A municipal order approving an employment agreement between the City of Paducah and Stephanie Suazo for contractual employment as Director of Human Resources and authorizing the mayor to execute same.
So move.
Second.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Guess,
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Mayor Bray.
Aye. Okay, we have one municipal order to discuss tonight. Are you going to take this one, Darren? Or,
I'm going to read that first and then,
okay. I'll ask the clerk to read it first.
Our proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Execution of Settlement Participation Forms for the Johnson & Johnson Settlement and the Distributor Settlement in order to opt in as participating subdivisions in the National Opioid Settlement."
So moved.
Second.
so Mayor and Commission, there's been some national dialogue over the last several years, and previous commission voted to move forward with the City of Paducah participating in these two settlements. This is the next step of our participation in that, and that the Johnson & Johnson settlement and the distributor settlement, we have to execute the documents to continue on in participation. That requires this body's official action to continue on in that process. At this time, until we know how many parties will actually sign on to be party of it, we don't know what the settlement amount might be to the city or what strings might be attached to those dollars once they come back into the Commonwealth and how they'll be distributed. But this is just the next step in that, and I don't know, do we have,
We have Terrace here.
Terrace, if you have anything to
add to it.
Yeah, come on up, Terrace.
I don't have anything to add to that. I have some more specific details on the settlement if you'd like to discuss that in executive session, but because it's not finalized, they're confidential at this time.
So I have I have a few comments. This is important. We have an opioid epidemic. That has swept the country over the last several years. There's very few people really out there that haven't been touched by this in some way, shape, or form. It started out really as a settlement with the manufacturers who made opioids, but it spread to the distributors and the retailers. So really, these settlements that are out there really are covering the entire supply chain. Anybody that touched an opioid at any point, over the last several years, are participating in these settlements. Those of you who know anything about my background know that I spent my career with AmerisourceBergen, which is one of the companies that actually has participated in one of these settlements. So I intend to recuse myself from our vote tonight, just from the standpoint that this is the industry that I spent my life's work in, and I'm very knowledgeable of a lot of things, the way operations took place. So I think it's best that I recuse myself. But from a positive standpoint, I'll say this. The city's in line to receive a significant amount of money. It looks like we're not sure exactly how much yet, and it's going to take place over a number of years. But the city will be charged with spending that money for specifically either treatment or somehow making an impact on the epidemic that's out there. And I consider that to be, very, very important for this city, for this community, that when we begin receiving that money, that we spend it in a very intelligent way and with a lot of forethought. And so, generally, I think it's a very positive thing, and we're already starting to think about exactly how we might be able to spend some of it. But we certainly want to try to make an impact in the community. That's all the remarks I have. Anybody else have any comments?
I will say that there are more settlements to come in this, hopefully, and at Bryant Law Center, we do a lot of legal work, obviously, and we see directly how opioids have affected our community, and it's very exciting that we can maybe get some relief financially and use that to help our community in the best ways.
Thank you for being here, Terrace.
Yeah, and I would just say that this evening, Commission, it would not be my recommendation that you go into executive session later on until we get some additional, and we'll bring that back for an executive session at a later date.
Okay.
Okay. Do you need me to hang around? Okay.
No? City Clerk, would you call roll?
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Okay, from here, we have an ordinance that we want to adopt. Thanks a lot, Terrace, for being here.
Thank you.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky Authorizing and Approving a Professional Services Agreement between the City of Paducah and BFW Engineering and Testing Incorporated for pavement inspection services for city streets utilizing the paver program in the amount of $49,751.82 per year for 2 years, with 3 optional 1-year extensions, and authorizing the mayor to execute said agreement." This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the mayor is hereby authorized to execute contract with BFW for a 2-year contract in the amount of $49,751.82 per year, with the option of 3 1-year renewals at the discretion of the city engineer, for a total not to exceed contract amount of $248,759.10. The expenditure shall be charged to the MAP Program Street Resurfacing and Rehabilitation Account, 2300 2217 542270.
So moved.
Second.
So this is the ordinance that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the pavement management inspections. We had somebody from BFW here to talk about it. We got any additional questions or thoughts on it? I think we can call roll then.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, City Clerk, would you please read the next ordinance?
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Paducah, Kentucky Authorizing and Approving the Issuance of a City of Paducah, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding Note, Series 2021A, in an aggregate principal amount of equal to that percentage of the principal amount of the County of McCracken, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding Bond, Series 2021A, which, bearing interest at the same rate or rates as the bonds, results in an aggregate annual payments of principal and interest on the note not exceeding $175,000 for each fiscal year during the term of the bonds, authorizing and approving an amended and restated interlocal cooperation agreement with the County of McCracken, Kentucky, approving the form of the note, authorizing designated officers to execute and deliver the note and the amended and restated interlocal cooperation agreement, authorizing the levy of a direct annual tax on all taxable property within the city in addition to all other taxes in an amount sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the note when and as the same becomes due, providing for the payment and security of the note, maintaining the heretofore established sinking fund, and repealing inconsistent ordinances. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance authorizes the issuance by the City of Paducah, Kentucky, of a general obligation refunding note designated as Series 2021A to the County of McCracken, Kentucky, in an aggregate principal amount equal to that percentage of the principal amount of the county's general obligation refunding bond, Series 2021A, which, bearing interest at the same rate or rates of interest as the county's bonds, results in aggregate annual payments of principal and interest on the note during each fiscal year of the city not exceeding $175,000. The notice to be issued to the finance to finance the city's proportionate share of the cost of refunding the outstanding County of McCracken, Kentucky General Obligation Bond, Series 2011, in advance of maturity to achieve debt service savings. The proceeds of the prior bonds were used to finance the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of an educational building and associated streets, parking lots, utilities, and infrastructure, which project has been and will be leased by the county to Murray State University, an agency and political subdivision of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, in connection with the provision of the University of Post-Secondary Educational Opportunities in the city and the county. This ordinance further authorizes an amended and restated interlocal cooperation agreement between the city and county, setting forth the respective obligations of the city and the county with respect to the refinancing of the prior bonds. Provisions are made in the ordinance for the payment of the note and the security therefor, for the application of the proceeds of the note, for the maintenance of the heretofore established sinking fund, and for certain covenants of the city with respect to the note. The note is to have a final maturity date no later than December 1st, 2031, and shall bear interest payable semi-annually on June 1st and December 1st of each year, commencing June 1st, 2022, at the same interest rates as shall be established at the advertised competitive sale for the county's bonds. The note pledges the full faith and credit of the county, and provision is made for the collection of tax to pay the principal of and interest on the note, as required by KRS 83A.060, Section 9 of the ordinance shall be set forth in its entirety for publication.
So moved, and thank you, Lindsay, for reading.
I second that.
Which part?
In
Both
every
those
way.
Any questions? We talked about this one a couple weeks ago. Are we all good?
Explain
Okay.
it well.
All right. You can call rolls.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, we can move to the next one.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a sanitary sewer easement between the city of Paducah, Kentucky and Paducah-McCracken County Joint Sewer Agency for an area located at 1105 South 3rd Street owned by the city of Paducah in order to protect the sanitary sewer. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance authorizes the mayor to execute a sanitary sewer easement between the city of Paducah and Paducah-McCracken County Joint Sewer Agency for and in consideration of $1 for an area located at 1105 South 3rd Street.
So moved.
Second.
Questions on this one? Thoughts? We okay? Okay, I believe we can call roll.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. And we can move to the final ordinance to be adopted for tonight.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Division 17, Paducah Creative and Cultural Council of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Paducah, Kentucky, to amend Section 2-582, Composition Appointment of Members. This ordinance is summarized as follows. This ordinance amends Section 2-582 of the Paducah Code of Ordinances. This amendment changes the composition of the Creative and Cultural Council to consist of 7 citizens and 2 members of city staff. Further, this amendment no longer defines the staff members by specific title.
So moved.
Second.
I think we're good. You can call roll.
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, we have the introduction of a new ordinance tonight. City Clerk, would you read it, please?
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance providing for the closing of 399.78 foot of South 22nd Street, 100 foot of Clark Street, a 12.5 foot wide, 50 foot long alley, 50 foot of a 20-foot wide alley, and 239.3 feet of an approximate 15-foot alley, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the city of Paducah does hereby authorize the closing of 399.78 feet of South 22nd Street, 100 feet of Clark Street, a 12.5-foot wide, 50-foot long alley, 50 foot of a 20-foot wide alley, and 239.3 feet of an approximately 15-foot alley, and authorizes, empowers, and directs the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed from the city of Paducah to the property owner in or abutting the public way to be closed.
So move.
Second.
Mayor, City Commission, and Madam City Clerk, thank you for the reading that as well. Pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Very true.
Okay? And what I have here is the heavy blue that's outlined there. That's actually some public right-of-way that the city's had on its books for a long time. And it's over by the Tillman High School. And we have other good news. We have Paducah Head Start is looking to build there. So they've bought all of those properties in that area. And in order to be successful, these alleys, these public ways are not being used by the public. They're just trees and things there. So anytime we can make it more useful property, we will. And all of that she read describes what's bounded in blue there. We'll have some more later, but Lindsay, if you'll move to the second picture, we have an illustration about what's taking place here. The shaded area, it's kind of shaped like a horseshoe, that's the building itself. The upper area is a little cul-de-sac that comes in and moves about. And then to the south, if you just move south on that, these are some things we'll be coming to you in the future on. That parking area is actually Otis Denning, or let's see, maybe South 23rd Street. That's extended. That's actually, if you go to the gymnasium now, the side parking coming into the side of the gymnasium is taking that street and expanding it to that. So since that is only going to be serving Paducah Independent Schools, Tillman High School campus, that makes it easier for them to own it, maintain it, and have freedom of use of it rather than coming and asking us every time they want to do something with that. So we'll be coming with that closure in the future, but that's what's coming. A lot of construction jobs. Dr. Child is doing a great job as far as just building things, one thing after another. I guess he's getting a lot of outside monies for this, but again, we're supporting that, and that's what we got going on.
So that's part of the Paducah Independent School System.
Yes, sir. Right now, their Head Start program is over on South 6th Street, down by Broad Street, and then this is where they look to be moving to their new facility.
And so that'll leave that building empty?
It will, but I do not know what the, I guess, future use of that building may be because.
Do we own that building? Does the city own it?
No.
They own it?
Yeah, Paducah Independent Schools owns it.
Yeah.
And they may be looking, I mean, they have a few places. 9th and Caldwell was their old administrative office. I think they moved that into other people's hands for their use, and I'm sure that they will have some idea of how they would like to use the old Cooper Whiteside School.
Do you know what the timing is on this new build?
Well, actually, just yesterday I approved what we call a land disturbance permit. We should see activity immediately. They have what they call a early site plan, early site development where they go in and they'll be removing the houses, the dwellings. They've already acquired all of that. So the engineers on this project have said that they look to be moving early in 2022 to start preparing the ground for the development of this in the spring of next year. But I mean, you'll see immediate activity right after Christmas of the houses and buildings being raised.
Great.
Or being removed from
Yeah,
the property.
that's great.
So.
Exciting.
Thank you, Rick.
Welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're getting through things pretty quick tonight. Any comments from our city manager?
Mayor, just two. Want to remind the public that Thanksgiving holiday for our team members, Thursday and Friday, so majority of our team will have that time off to spend with their family, and so City Hall and some other departments will be closed for that. But also during this time, I want to make sure that we also recognize those of our teams that do have to work through those times as well. And so, our public safety officials are out. We want to encourage everybody to have a safe and thankful holiday season. And so, but did want to remind folks about the closure. And then also wanted to give some kudos. If you came in this evening, you noticed that it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas in City Hall. And to several of our team members and Chris's crew, they worked hard yesterday. Lindsay and Michelle and Stephanie. I mean, we had all departments involved: finance, the the prevention office. I don't think there was a department that may not have participated in getting City Hall decorated. So we were appreciative of that time and the decorations. And I've heard that it's a nice change from last year because didn't get to have that up and done. So we're excited about that opportunity. And we invite the public to come in and view City Hall at Christmas time.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks, City Manager. They tried to recruit me to help with the decorations, but that's not my strong suit at all.
Mine either.
Any comments from Board of Commissioners? Anybody? Would anybody yield 1 minute to me?
Sure.
So I just wanted to talk about the Christmas parade coming up. Because, we're going to have a Christmas parade this year, and we didn't get to have one last year, and I've got a granddaughter, and she happens to be really, really excited about it. And so I talked to Amy earlier today. I think so far we have 86 floats signed up so far. And so I'm not sure whether all the commissioners are going to participate in it, but it sure would be great to have everybody there. Just put a little pressure on you. But I think it'll be a fun time. There'll be a lot of people wanting to get out and see the parade, I think, this year because they didn't get to last year. And it's a great opportunity to bring kids. Kids love parades. And so it's an opportunity to have some fun. So I hope to see all of us out there. That's all from my standpoint, and I would take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt?
Aye.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye.
That was easy.
I was going to make a motion to adjourn.